So if you were wondering what I thought about the finale, I'll just go ahead and say that I thought it was freaking hilarious and I'm pretty happy with it. So the start of this 2-hour finale had me literally gasping, like freaking out. How mega intense was that scene between Pete and Grace? Like OMG, I was just dying over that. I thought that was one of the best scenes from probably the entire series. Thumbs up if you agree with me. So we just learned so much like right off the bat, and I appreciated that about this finale. They didn't kind of, make us wait around to the very end. I love the fact that this stuff with Pete came right out. And then we learned that he was a killer and he had killed a few people. One for sure was Roger or Dodger. He couldn't remember which one. And he actually was the person who killed Boone. And here's the thing, if you watched my video last week about the episode before the finale, a lot of the things that I predicted about Pete came true because he was actually killing these fraternity and sorority people because he was an outcast, because he had been rejected and humiliated by these people, and he thought they were awful people, and he seriously believed that they deserved to die. So this is the time that we realize that Pete is not right in the head. Like, he's crazy. Something's just not right with this kid. And when he was having this interaction with Grace, I knew at that point that Grace could not be one of the RDs. And I kind of got that feeling in the last episode, but it pretty much was confirmed for me in the very beginning of this finale, which was a little upsetting because I was hoping for a real shocker of who the RD would be. But that's okay. And honestly, I liked Grace's character. So we also found out that he felt kind of he was kind of blackmailed by Boone and the other RD, and I think Gigi, because they were going to kill him if he didn't start killing people. But again, he didn't feel any remorse for it, and he felt like he was actually helping Grace because he was out killing all these terrible people. Like I said, he's just totally insane. He was supposed to help Boone kill Gigi, but we see that he turned on him, like I said, and he ended up killing Boone because he thought if he killed Boone, then the other killings would stop. And then he realized he just didn't want to kill anymore. But it's all one big, huge mess. What was interesting, though, was he thought that Grace would understand because he did it because he loved her. She was like, oh my gosh, no, I don't ever want to see you again. And as she was trying to leave, he was like, hold on, I was just going to tell you who the other RD is, and by the way, it's one of your sisters. So she comes back in, and it's just as he was getting ready to tell her this huge secret, the Red Devil jumps out and stabs him and attacks Grace too, but Grace is able to fight the Red Devil off. But Pete gets killed like in the very beginning of the finale. I was screaming, I was like, oh my gosh, and I love the fact that this started off with such a dramatic scene. Like, that made me so incredibly happy. So we had to confirm now that, as Pete was saying, our other killer is in fact the twin sister, the bathtub baby. So now at this point, I'm wondering who you guys thought it was. Post down below, because I knew for sure it wasn't Grace, but I thought it was maybe either Chanel number 5 or Chanel 6, which is Hester. We'd have to wait just a little bit to find that out. The way that Pete found it out is when he actually collected DNA samples from all of the Kappas and pieced it together. Now, what I really love more than anything about this finale was how funny both hours were. Literally the funniest episodes of the entire season, in my opinion. When this series started, the first episode was freaking hilarious. Some of the episodes dragged a little bit and just weren't that funny, but they started it and ended it, in my opinion, in just a super way, and I was laughing and I loved all the little inside jokes. And I don't even know, after watching it twice, if I caught like all of the allusions and the inside jokes, because there was just so much of it, and it was so witty, and that's what made me fall in love with Scream Queens, and I'm glad to see this season end being totally hysterical. Comment down below with some of your favorite funny moments from the finale. So, it turns out that an RD shows up at the Kappa house and is going to attack Chanel number 1 and Zayday, but they are able to fight this person off. They unmask him and they're like, oh my god, who is this guy? Well, it turns out he is a pizza delivery man who, he says he showed up to deliver pizza at the house, and one of the girls told him, just, come up there and try to attack those girls. But the worst part of all of it is that he has a bomb strapped to him, and at first I thought this was just one big joke, but it actually does explode. I mean, I was really shocked by that. That was another thing that they pulled off in this episode that I thought was very shocking. and kind of disturbing, but they tried to make it kind of funny even then because like the flames look like sort of a comic book and the mask came toward the camera. So again, everything they did in the finale was done kind of sarcastically. It was satirical, you know. So I really appreciated this type of humor, and I was just laughing through the entire thing. Even though it's messed up, it's like a comedic drama, I guess, and I love the way that it's so crazily messed up. I never took it too seriously, and I think that I know some of you are disappointed with the finale, and tell me down below if you didn't like it, and please tell me why, because, you know, we still can be friends regardless, but for me, that is why I could accept everything, because I look at it as hilarious, and I appreciated the funny moments of it. So Chanel number 1 has a new idea about who the killer is, and she's sure that it's Melanie Dorcas who is back in town, so she goes over there with Chanel 3 and Chanel 5, but then Chanel 5 gets this notification on Tinder, and she has to leave before they can go confront Melanie. Chanel number 1 is actually there to kill her with a pair of scissors, which is completely crazy, but we'll get to that in just a little bit. So Grace goes to her dad, and she comes clean about Pete, and he's like, you know, I'm really sorry for you. And I was kind of sad, but it turns out that Grace's dad is actually a good guy who cares about his daughter, and he didn't have any, you know, ulterior motives here. So I was wrong with my theory about Grace's dad. But she wants him to help her figure out who the other RD is, who this twin sister is. So she wants him to hook up with the dean while she and Zayday go through the transcripts of all the Kappas. Now at first he's like, that's totally disgusting, I don't want to do this, but once he gets into it, he realizes he actually likes the dean, which I found to be hilarious because obviously that probably would never happen in real life. That's why it's so funny. And then they start dating. So as they're going through the transcripts, they realize that one of the girls' transcripts is completely made up. This whole scene was hilarious. The girl lived on Sesame Street, graduated from Sweet Valley High. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 was her social security number. I laughed at the whole, I think that is just freaking funny. I don't know if you have the same sense of humor as the show and as me, but to me, that was so funny. But they don't tell us who this person is. Thankfully, they go over and find Chanel number 1 about to kill Melanie Dorcas, and they're like, wait, she is not the RD. We know who it is, and the RD is Hester. At first, I wasn't sure if this is going to end up being true, but if it was going to be true, I was going to be okay with it. So here's the thing. Hester is actually back at the Kappa house, and when they get back to the house, she's like, oh my god, I've been stabbed in the eye with a stiletto. Again, completely hilarious because a very nice, expensive designer shoe was used as a weapon here. So funny, just goes with the whole theme of the show. I thought that was so funny. But as the first hour is ending, she points at Chanel number 5 and she's like, Red Devil. So we're wondering, like, is Chanel 5 the Red Devil or is Hester the Red Devil? Like, what's up with that? Because the DNA matched Hester. So, when we start the second hour, we kind of jump around in time some. We start out a little bit in the future with Zayday, Grace, and Hester, kind of the leaders of the sorority. Hester's wearing an eye patch. We realize that that eye injury actually isn't severe, and I don't guess she even really needs the eye patch all the time. I don't know, but she has a designer looking, you know, crystal-studded eye patch anyway. How hilarious. And then we learn Hester's complete backstory. We start hearing the story from her point of view. We learn that she is, in fact, Boone's twin sister, which I definitely had thought of before, but after they kind of faked killed her off, I changed my mind, and then I was like, wait, could she be? I don't know. Does that mean she's still the killer? But it makes sense. She looks like him. She was raised in that insane asylum with Gigi. Gigi was pretty much going crazy for most of the time, but then she decided to start plotting their revenge, and she worked on this revenge with Gigi, with Boone and Hester, since they were little kids, and taught them how to kill and all kinds of terrible things. Again, it's supposed to be funny. And Hester decided she needed to be super weird to blend in, which is kind of funny, but it worked for her. So she decided to make up that she had scoliosis and how to wear a back brace, and she thought, you know, people wouldn't bother her if they thought she was really weird. They wouldn't try to get to know her. They ended up killing some guy who was the college mascot and stealing that Red Devil outfit to use that as their outfit when they went out and killed people, or maybe I should say costume. And here's where things get super crazy. So now we know her whole backstory. Well, even though it looks completely obvious that Hester is the Red Devil and they have the DNA to prove it, she is able to blackmail and maybe frame is the better word, the 3 Chanels with some elaborate stories and some hilarious moments, and she makes them all appear guilty of being the killers. There are so many funny moments in here, I can't even list them all or I'll be doing this video for an hour, but basically she hired actors to play her parents. She had Chanel No. 5's parents turn against her. I mean, it was just nonstop laughs for me. Thumbs up if you felt the same way. Oh my gosh, I just absolutely loved it. So the three Chanels get arrested. Niecy Nash slash Denise is the head of this. I almost fell into the floor when I saw the cops who were former stripper cops who are now real cops arresting them in their stripper cop outfits. One of the funniest moments of the finale, but there were so many funny moments. Love that so much. And so they actually get convicted, the three Chanels. But the funny thing is they get sent to the insane asylum, the same one that Hester grew up in. And they absolutely love it because they don't have the pressures of looking good every day, of looking good for guys, of trying to not eat to be skinny for guys, of worrying about posting to Instagram and Facebook. And all of it to me is kind of funny. And I think the show, in a little bit of an indirect way, was trying to give a message out to everyone like, hey, life would be more simple if you didn't have to worry about kind of non-meaningful things like social media and, you know, not eating for guys and stuff like that. Stuff that you probably shouldn't be worried about. Probably gosh, it's so hard for me to narrow this down because there are so many funny moments, but I think hands down the funniest moment, hopefully I won't say again, there was another funnier moment, but the funniest moment was the Denise Chad breakup when she was quoting the lyrics to TLC's Waterfalls. That moment was epic. Like, I could watch that scene 500 times and I would still laugh. Thumbs up if you thought that was hilarious. I love those two characters. I so hope that those two actors are back next season. They just killed me. So we find out on into the next year that the dean got famous after writing a book. And Hester is actually very happy with things because she feels like she has her family now, her half-sister Grace and her real dad. She feels accepted in the sorority. She doesn't want to kill people anymore. And we learn that the dean actually realizes that Hester is behind all of this. She calls her out on it, but then Hester blackmails her and she's like, look, I will tell everyone that you covered up my mom's death. I will tell everyone that you killed your ex-husband. So you should just enjoy your best-selling life. And she's like, okay, deal. Again, kind of funny because in real life, no one would just agree to that. So it looks like, you know, everything's going to be okay. I was completely shocked by the ending. I wasn't expecting a cliffhanger ending because from everything I've read, it will be a totally different plot line and story and everything next season unless I'm reading it wrong or something changes. But we get our cliffhanger in the form of something happening at the insane asylum when Chanel No. 1 is going to sleep. And a red devil appears before her or above her. Now, I don't know if there will ever be anything to finish out this story or if that's just kind of how this story ends and we're just left hanging, which that is what I think is going to happen. So, I just wanted to know at this point what you guys think. I would love to hear from all of you. Comment down below. Let me know, first of all, your fave parts of the episode, the parts you did not like. What did you think? Were you happy with the finale? If you weren't happy, why not? And be specific. If you didn't like certain things, tell me. If you love certain things, tell me. You will not make me mad. If you disagree with me, you know what? Everyone has different opinions, and that's what makes the world go round. So I just wanted to thank you for being part of the Scream Queens journey for me. I hope and think that there will be a season 2, and that means I will be back doing these videos, and I hope you have subscribed so you can join me or join with me, and I'll be doing other shows in 2016 like Pretty Little Liars, How to Get Away with Murder, Quantico, and other things. So please subscribe to Kellie TV. And last, before we go, I did not forget to announce my 2 winners of the $100 Live Nation gift cards. 2 winners receive each $100. And I put everyone who selected Hester into a random number generator. As long as you were subscribed, some of you sadly were not subscribed, so I had to remove you from the drawing. Winner number 1 is Grant Schott, and winner number 2 is Sheena Carrasquillo. And I have sent you both private messages, and you have until Monday to get back with me, or I will have to choose other winners. I will have more giveaways coming, so if you didn't win, don't worry, you have more chances soon. So hope everyone has a happy holiday season and a very happy new year. And thank you so much for being a part of the Kellie TV community. Bye, guys.
Don't go chasing waterfalls.